In the book of Exodus in the Bible, we read of the children of Israel dwelling in the land of Egypt as slaves under the cruel hand of Pharaoh. He oppressed them terribly. He issued a proclamation that every Hebrew or Israelite baby boy be killed. Such a baby boy was born to a certain woman from the house of Levi. She put the little baby in a tiny ark and placed it in the bulrushes along the riverbank. Pharaoh's daughter found the baby one day as she was bathing in the river, and she adopted him. She brought him up as one of Egyptian royalty, and she called him Moses. As Moses grew into manhood, he was appalled at the way the Egyptians were persecuting his people. One day, when he saw a guard mercilessly beating a Hebrew, Moses could stand it no longer, and he went out and he killed the Egyptian. When Pharaoh found this out, he sought to slay Moses. But Moses fled to a land called Midian. There he lived for many years as a shepherd. He married and raised a family. He tended his flocks, and all was very peaceful. But the Lord had a plan for Moses, and one day spoke to him through a burning bush, telling him he, the Lord, was very concerned with his people in Egypt. He told Moses he wanted him to go to Pharaoh and to lead the children of Israel out of Egypt. And you know, Moses tried to get out of doing this. He said to God, "My Lord, why do you want to send me? No one would believe that you chose me to lead them out of bondage. Besides, I don't even talk very well." But God told Moses, "I will be with you. I will put the words into your mouth. You have a brother Aaron, who is a Levite. I will put the words into his mouth, and you two shall work together." Then God told Moses to throw his rod down upon the ground. Immediately it turned into a writhing snake. God said he would enable Moses to turn water into blood, and by these signs Pharaoh and the people would know God had sent Moses and was working through him. So Moses returned to Egypt, was reunited with his brother Aaron, and told the children of Israel that God was sympathetic to them. They believed Moses and bowed their heads and worshiped the Lord. Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and said, "The Lord God of Israel has said, 'Let my people go.'" Pharaoh sneered, "Who is the Lord that I should obey his voice and let Israel go? I don't know the Lord, and I will not let Israel go. Besides, you are keeping the people from their work, so I'll make things tougher for them." And Pharaoh ordered that the people would not be given straw with which to make brick. The taskmasters made the children of Israel go all over the countryside gathering straw. And when they didn't fill their daily quota of bricks, the taskmasters beat them. Moses was heartsick. He said to the Lord, "Lord, why have you sent me? Now, since I've spoken to Pharaoh, things are worse." God answered Moses, saying, "You will see what I will do to Pharaoh." God sent Moses to Pharaoh again with the plea, "Let my people go." But Pharaoh's heart was hardened. He said to Moses, "Show me a miracle." Moses told Aaron to cast down his rod. He did, and it became a serpent. Then Pharaoh had his magicians cast down their rods. They too became serpents, but Aaron's serpents ate theirs up. Still, Pharaoh refused to let the children of Israel go. One day, as Pharaoh went to the river to drink, Moses said, "Pharaoh, if you don't let my people go, God will take this rod of mine and turn the water in this river into blood, so that you might know he is the Lord." Pharaoh didn't budge. So Moses struck the river with his rod. Immediately, all the water in Egypt became blood, and everything in it died. Next, the Lord, through Moses and Aaron, sent plagues of frogs, lice, flies, hail, locusts, and darkness. Still, Pharaoh firmly refused to let the people go. Finally, when the Lord caused the firstborn of every Egyptian, the first child of Pharaoh's, of everyone, and of every beast, to die, a great cry went up from the land of Egypt. Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron and said to them, "Go, go, you and your people, get out of Egypt. Serve the Lord as you wish." So, at long last, Moses and Aaron and all the children of Israel gathered together all their belongings and began the Exodus, or going out of Egypt. The Lord showed them the way, going before them in a pillar of cloud by day and in a pillar of fire by night. Now it wasn't long after the Israelites had left Pharaoh that he and his court got to thinking, why did we let those people go? So they decided to take after them and bring them back to Egypt. Pharaoh gathered his huge army, and in their chariots they took off after Moses and Aaron and the children of Israel. Now the Lord had led the Israelites to the banks of the Red Sea. One day they looked up and saw the huge army of Pharaoh approaching them from over the horizon. What a spot to be in. There they were, caught between the sea and the oncoming army. They were scared to death. They screamed at Moses, "Better we should have stayed in Egypt than to be slaughtered in the wilderness." "Fear not," Moses told them. "Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord, which he will show to you today. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace." Then God said to Moses, "Lift your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it, and the children of Israel shall go on dry ground through the midst of the sea." So Moses did as the Lord commanded him, and the roaring waters of the Red Sea parted as the Lord said they would. And the children of Israel walked between the two huge walls of water across the floor of the Red Sea to the other side. Soon Pharaoh and his army came and leaped into the passageway between the two walls of water. And the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians." So did Moses, and the waters of the Red Sea returned to their normal position, roaring over Pharaoh and all the Egyptian army. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. And the people loved and feared and believed the Lord and his servant Moses.